My name is Amy George, sales manager at RobotLAB, helping educators find the best solutions for their students. RobotLAB has been around for over a decade, helping customers with the latest technology out there. We are conducting this walkthrough as an overview to this amazing innovative product that will enhance STEM programs and introduce hydroponics and sustainability in a fun, productive way. Let's introduce the experts, Alex and Steve Tyank with Fork Farms. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks
You're
so much
welcome.
for having us.
Great. We just have quite a few questions. We're really interested in the product. So can you tell us where the idea for Fork Farms started?
Yeah, sure. So our project began over a decade ago now, and it stemmed from chance, I would say. I went to school to become a world famous opera singer, and obviously that never happened. But I had an opportunity to move to New York City as a result. And when I was there, I randomly ran into a group of people that were growing food on a rooftop in Brooklyn. And I had never heard of urban agriculture before. I'd never realized that people were growing food in cities and was really just fascinated by the concept. And they convinced me to volunteer for this nonprofit farm that was growing food for the food pantry that was on the first floor of the same building. And at the end of the summer, they said, "Hey, you grew all this food, and you're a starving artist. It looks like you could use it. You should bring some of this food home." And I agreed. And basically, my eating habits changed overnight as a result. And I think it's because looking back, when you take care of something, it's so simple, you get more connected to it in some way. And I think this applies to lots of things in life. But for me, growing my own food led me to, be more willing and wanting to eat that food. And eating better really elevated my mental health. And so for me, it was a mental health transformation. And I thought to myself, man, is it really that simple? You grow food, you're more likely to eat it, you eat it, and then you feel better. And I thought maybe we're overcomplicating it a little bit, and got really passionate by this idea and decided I wanted to help feed some kids in New York City. And so built a soil rooftop farm for New York public schools, which failed miserably because what we learned is the trouble with outdoor school gardens is that they are really active when the school is not in session. And nothing against that solution. I've seen them work really well, but more often than not, they rely on some kind of parent volunteer or a very engaged teacher, and that's really hard to sustain over time. So we realized we had to bring it indoors, and that wasn't enough though, because we realized that schools, they don't just need a great learning opportunity. They also need a way to solve the massive food problems that are facing districts across the country. And they need food that's fresher, more nutritious, and most importantly, affordable and at a scale that's really going to feed a lot of kids. And so we really made it our mission to figure out how are we going to get the unit economics of indoor farming accessible to everybody. And it took us about 3 years, but we basically learned that there's a certain way of designing these systems that's significantly more energy efficient than the rest of the industry. So right now we're about 4 times more energy efficient than our next closest competitor. And that's a big deal for schools because now they can start to grow the food that they're used to buying off the back of the truck, but do it in a way that saves them money on their food budget and provides incredible engagement opportunities across multiple disciplines within the school.
That leads to the next question. What sets your company apart from competitors?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is that we take a partnership approach. So, everybody else, they view themselves as a hydroponic equipment manufacturer, and we view ourselves as a food access technology company. And in order to drive systems change in the food space, you have to think collaboratively and you have to think in a way that's serving people where they are in a way that's best applicable to them. So a lot of times when we're partnering with different schools, we're not talking about just food or hydroponics. We're talking about what else is happening in their makerspace, what else is happening in their agriculture program, what else is happening in their food nutrition programming, and what can we do uniquely to tie these pieces together and to get different classrooms talking to each other, to get different disciplines working, and to add value-added curriculum and even community connectivity, because this can happen outside of school walls as well. So we've really invested a lot of energy and time and created digital products that kind of elevate and support all of this, um, that are free to our customers. And we partner strategically with organizations like RobotLAB because we think similarly. We know that you're taking a very integrated, hands-on approach with your customers, so that they can have a similar type of value-added experience with your very high quality product line.
Yeah,
As
so
an example of
go
that,
ahead.
Amy, if I can just interrupt for a moment, we offer 44 lesson plans free of charge to all of our partners. They're all based on next generation science standards, which we're really proud of. So it's leading edge STEM curriculum, 4 different bandwidths they're available in. But in addition to the lesson plans, we also have after school programming, badging programs, coloring books for kindergartners and pre-K kids. So we've really, to Alex's point, tried to put our arms around that entire educational experience for students, as well as the teachers, the educators that are part of it. And it doesn't stop there. We also are involved in post-secondary lesson and education as well.
Yeah, my next question was about how does this solution support STEM education? So you did talk about the curriculum, which is really important, but how else can you see this supporting STEM in schools?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we have a mobile app called Formative, that's downloadable in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. And it's again free to anybody that has a piece of our technology. And in it are all of these resources. So our goal has been to enable our partners and customers, so that they can do as much self-service in this as they'd like, and to really take it and own it in their own ways. But we're constantly talking and learning from our partners and figuring out what else we can add to the platform to even further deepen it. So I would say at this point we've identified 5 or 6 kind of key use cases for the technology in classroom and kind of the school setting, and most of them center around STEM applications. And so our lesson plans focus on sustainability. It focuses on engineering and the mathematics behind the device, actually, and supply chain. We've got lessons that focus on the science around nutrition and dietetics and things like that. So we've really taken a broad approach in terms of all of the different ways that food um, can be engaged in a STEM application, because food intersects with almost every aspect of our lives. So it creates a lot of opportunity to get creative. And we've really tried to harness that and take advantage of that by going after a lot of different disciplines, just using food and farming systems and technology as the lens on that.
Great. Steve, can you let us know what is the best produce to start with? If you are just starting with this program, what have you found is the best, most productive, produce out
Sure.
there to start?
Yeah, that's a great question, Amy. So every flex farm is shipped with 3 to 4 months worth of supplies. So our partners literally don't have to purchase anything. They can, the flex farm is shipped in 2 boxes, UPS. It comes together with no tools. It's completely self-contained. As Alex mentioned, the energy requirements are very, very limited. In fact, all you need is just a normal receptacle, 2 plugs, one for the pump, one for the light, and away you go. We ship the farm with lettuce, Green Star lettuce, as well as basil seeds. And the reason we do that is because we've had so much success with with those type of plants. And the kids love them because they grow fast. And after the first, I don't know, Alex, maybe week and a half, they literally will come in day after day and notice the growth of the plants. So the flex farm has been optimized for leafy greens. So it'll grow anything, Amy. It'll grow, certainly fruiting vegetables or leafy greens, herbs. We have kids that'll grow marigolds and repot them and give them to their moms for Mother's Day. It'll grow perennials. And we've seen so much success in that, but it's really been optimized for leafy greens, for herbs. And, it's 28 days, you can grow 25 to 30 pounds of food.
That is my next question. The yield for one crop is 28 days then. That's great.
Yeah.
Can you just, in the briefest way possible, talk about how it works? So from, planting to what? Yeah, take it away as far as however you can say it. Thanks.
Yeah,
Yeah, do you want to do that, Alex? And I'll be Vanna White here. I'll show the
sure. Okay. So it couldn't be simpler. There's one moving part in the whole device, and it's a submersible pump that is, you can kind of see the black tube that's coming up from the left reservoir there. So the water pumps up that tube and it splits at the top and it goes around both halves of the system. And it's a really simple open flow irrigation system. We kind of figured out, what is the right sizing of everything to prevent clogging and cleaning and, really keep it simple to maintain. The water just flows down the inside of those root chambers is what we call them. The panels that the plants actually are situated in, we call those our grow panels, and those are dishwasher safe. So every roughly 6 to 9 months, we recommend folks pop those out and put them in any commercial residential dishwasher and run them through a cycle. That keeps cleaning really simple as well. And then the water goes right back down into the reservoir, and there's a small pump. I'm sorry, there's a small tube in the back that connects the two reservoirs together. So as the reservoir on the right fills up, it drains into where the pump is, and that prevents any chance of leaking. It prevents any chance of like debris, clogging up things. So we've really designed this thing to be really intuitive. The light's separate. It can be pulled out really easy to get it out of the way for harvesting. And that's, easy to, you can touch them. They're only, they're low wattage LEDs. And the magic is that when it's in production, most of the time you close it, so it's not disruptive in the classroom with this really bright thing. But there's still something living, and and you can hear a little water trickle, so it adds kind of a nice ambiance effect to every classroom. It cleans the air, and it's really simple for anyone to operate. I have a 5-year-old at home, and he helps us operate ours. We think 4th grade, 3rd grade to 4th grade is about when kids can really start to do everything all on their own. Need a little bit of extra hand holding before that. But we have large scale programs in any age range, but especially in the high school and university post-secondary level, we're starting to see a lot of career technical education programs do this more at a much larger scale. So putting 20 of these all in one space for like an indoor farm lab. When we do that, we connect all the devices together. So instead of having a pump in each hydroponic system, you have one large pump that services all 20. And we call that our Flex Connect system. It's basically a really fancy plumbing system that makes maintenance really simple.
Nice. Can you provide some examples of successful educational initiatives or programs that have utilized the Flex Farm to enhance your student understanding of food system? Are there any larger projects, sorry, or districts that you don't need to name drop, but just the overall overview of what they're doing or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, and Dad, you gotta hop in here too. So, we've got little over 40 people on our team, and I'd say, 25, 26 of them are out there doing partnership development out there in the market. So, we're in, almost 3,500 different locations at this point across all 50 states and 13 countries, and 77% of those locations are in education setting. And so we're in hundreds and thousands of districts out there. And so I think we've probably seen it all. And but we still get surprised every once in a while. You know, last year we saw some students do apple tree starts. We'd never seen that before. A school tried kumquats, and there's a school actually in Wisconsin. They do a pumpkin growing contest every year among the different schools in the districts that have them. So I would say the key core use cases, though, are, you know, we break down broadly into classroom and food service. And there's a really strong food service application for this, where this will actually offset food budgets. It'll increase consumption of fresh food at the lunch line. It will drive a lot more integration with food service programs and nutrition directors. And so we've had a lot of success in that area. School districts coming to us and saying, hey, we are scared of the romaine lettuce, Listeria, E. coli outbreaks. We're scared for our kids. What would it take for us to grow all that product ourselves? And then we say, well, it'll take 18, 26, however many flex farms to do that. And we scope the project for them, and they pull the trigger, because you know, a lot of times those types of projects, they may start with only a handful and then it grows, but we've had more and more districts over the years come out of the gate with 20, 30, 40 farms as an initial purchase. So it's definitely a lot of opportunity out there. In the answering the question, how do we feed kids? The bridge from that into the classroom is lots of schools run commercial applications. So they'll actually grow and sell the food, maybe keep a portion for feeding the kids, but they will use it as a hands-on learning, you know, project where the kids are responsible for running almost every aspect of that business, where they're getting a stand at the farmer's market, and they're, you know, taking internships through the school to like run the farmer's market and to run the farm. And they're even paying kids. I ran a project like that in New York City when I was there. That was one of the earliest applications of this. And then as you go deeper into the classroom application, there's obviously myriad STEM opportunities and makerspace integrations. You know, we see folks talking about pretty much every aspect of this. So why was the system designed like it was? What drives the energy efficiency of this? What do plants need to grow? Hydroponics creates this incredible transparent environment to really see how plant physiology works. So watching root mass and weighing root mass versus dry mass, and pH levels and the effect of growth rates and changing pH levels or nutrient levels. What happens if we only run the light for 3 hours a day instead of the recommended 14 to 16? Those types of experiments we've seen a lot of success with and a lot of student engagement with. Agricultural intersections for this has been a big application as well, working with FFA teachers and folks like that, they know that their students need training in next generation technology in the ag space. And we know that the vertical farming industry is growing on a 25% compound annual growth rate as an industry. It's the fastest growing agricultural segment right now. And you know, we're going to see it become about a $30 billion industry over the next 5 to 10 years. And so there are substantial job opportunities already in the industry and significantly more coming, as well as a lot of need out there for people that have specialized training in this kind of technology, which is novel and new. And particularly important to have the experience to run something that's at scale in terms of its mode of growing. You know, we have a device that's really geared towards commercial type growing, versus other, you know, things out there on the market. They're really more hobbyist devices. They're more geared towards the consumer. And then the student really isn't getting that true crop rotation and the true food safety and handling practices and things like that you're going to get when you're really running something that's just that next level scale. We found that to be really critical.
Amy, I wanted to add too that to Alex's earlier point, the average elementary school in the state that we live in, which is Wisconsin, which is probably pretty similar to most of the other states, is 150 students. And one flex farm will take care of their fresh food needs. They won't have to purchase fresh food from a wholesaler or anywhere else. They can grow
their leafy green needs.
Leafy greens, thank you. Yeah, they're leafy greens. Thank you for the clarification. And the one thing that we're also really proud of is we offer free support for the life of the farm. So the support we found necessarily isn't about how the operation of the unit. It's more teacher to teacher sharing ideas of, I want to grow strawberries. How did you do it? Or I want to do something fun for Mother's Day or for the Christmas time, right? Alex mentioned apple tree starts. It was fun to see all the third graders going home with their own little apple trees that they could plant and understand that entire process right at home. So we're finding that the perception of fresh food goes up once they engage not only with the technology, but also with the curriculum and with the STEM professional.
Yeah, thank you so much for answering these questions. Thank you so much for your time. We love, the passion for what you're doing, your partnership. We're very excited to partner with you as well. Steve and Alex, thank you so much. Stay tuned, please, for more webinars, interviews, success stories from RobotLAB, and please don't forget to follow us on social media, RobotLAB EDU. Thank you so much.